It's your time. Better live it today. Take a stand. Meet your dreams halfway. Leave behind all the fear and doubt. And welcome to your beautiful now. Hey, everybody. Derek Floyd here. Beautiful Now podcast. Welcome to another edition of Beautiful Now Live. Feels like it's been forever since I seen y'all out there. So I hope you've been enjoying taking care of life, being blessed by God. I know you are out there. And man, it's been a lot going on, right? COVID and the war, just so much madness going on. And today I wanted to bring you something positive, something to kind of get you back on track. So I'm super excited, man. We've got an incredible special guest today who's going to kind of talk about what happens with inflation and our finances, and most importantly, how to manage our credit. A lot of times people think, hey, I got this credit card, I'm just going to go ahead and spend it up, or I'm going to have my debt and manage it this way, that way, or they just do whatever they want and end up in a situation where they're in debt. And that causes issues in our credit along the way. And we need to have our credit for a long time. So I felt like, you know what, I need to be able to help my brothers and sisters out there that are maybe drowning in credit or trying to figure out how to get their financial life together. And if I can bring somebody who's done it, who I've even used to help me do my own, then that would be the way to bring some positive light to everybody out there who's just looking for a way to get out of this situation. So, should we do this? Are y'all ready? Hold on. Are y'all ready? Are y'all really ready? I don't think y'all ready. Y'all not ready. Hold on. Somebody ready. You ready? Oh, God, y'all gotta be bigger than that. Is somebody ready? Okay. Well, I think you guys are gonna be ready for this. So let me see if y'all ready. So it comes down like this. The guy I'm gonna talk to today has built a company, and it's called freedomcreditbooster.com, which is pretty crazy, right? But this is what it looks like. You'll see it here shortly. And he built this company to help people get into a better situation with their credit, to educate them, to show them something else. And this guy's got solutions that maybe you didn't even know were out there. So if you're out there with me and you said, hey, I need to figure out how to manage this thing, I got to get my credit life together, then you've come to the right place today. And you're going to meet my man, the CEO of Freedom Credit Booster. Will y'all help me welcome my boy, Mr. Larry Wilson? Larry, you there, bro? Talk to me.
Yes.
There he
Man.
is.
How y'all doing?
Man, what's good? People out there, I see people calling. I see Ebony's in the audience saying, hey, here to support you. Okay, Ebony giving love. Anybody out there want to get a shout out to my boy? Come on, give a shout to Larry out there. If you out there saying, we got Larry, come on, get a shout. That's what I'm talking
No
about.
doubt, man. I appreciate you, man. Derek, what an introduction, man. I appreciate you. I appreciate you bringing me on the platform. Thank you very much, brother.
Man, it's been a blessing, man. Like I said in the intro, man, you've helped me. I was a client first before I brought you on, so I thought this guy taught me some stuff. I need to let people know this guy's for real, and help people understand how important it is to manage your credit, right?
Absolutely. It's very important to learn. And I think that's really the issue more than anything. I think there's some misunderstandings as to what you need to be doing in order to truly manage it and to leverage it. There are specific strategies that need to happen, and that's what I like to teach. I like to teach the real deal. I like to teach the true understanding of what you need to be doing in order to leverage your credit to your benefit.
I love it. I love it. I love it. So, tell me how long you've been working in the credit business. Like, how'd you get started? We got a little pause there. See if you can bring us back. Are you there, brother?
Yeah, I'm here.
There it is. So how long you been working in the credit business? Like, how'd you get started?
All right, so I got started in 2018. I was on a mission. I said, I'm going to get my real estate license, and I became a licensed realtor. And pretty much in a nutshell, what happened was I saw a void. I saw a void for clients that were just in need, and they lacked the understanding as to what it really took for them to actually cross that finish line. And so what I wanted to do, I just wanted to form a solution for the people that I would potentially be running into. So I decided to start a business. It started out as just more so a thing to fill a void for my specific clientele, but I saw that there was a real true need, and there are a lot of people that were, for lack of better words, people suffering. for not knowing. You know what I mean? And I wanted to help clear the air for those people that didn't know, and also help those folks that truly are goal oriented and have an understanding as to what they need to do. They just don't know how to build it. They don't know how to execute it. And so that's how I got into it. 2018. I'm 4 years strong right now.
Wow, wow. And I understand, I love how you put it together. You were helping people in the real estate side, and you realize folks are coming to me with bad credit, and I can't get them solved. I can't get it done. There's a
Right.
lack of information here, right?
Right. That's correct. So basically, people would come wanting a house, wanting to get approved for certain things, go to the dealerships and they get crossed up and caught up in some high interest loans, or they have to go settle for a buy here, pay here situation because of just for the lack of knowledge of not understanding what they can do, some very simple steps that they can possibly do to just bring them into a position of where they can actually have a better situation.
Wow, wow. I've we've talked about this before, you and I, and that is the lack of information, or the I'm gonna have my notes here. Maybe the lack of knowledge between people of color and where they stand with credit, and then other people, of our brothers and sisters that have managed credit well. And unfortunately, you look in a white neighborhood or in a fluid neighborhood, and their credit is managed well. They're taught early, and of course, unfortunately, African Americans aren't taught the way they should be early. Why is that gap happening, and how can we remedy that? How can we get better with that situation?
Well, I think traditionally, due to the due to the lack of that knowledge, as you say, in the past, let's just say in the past, we'll just call it what it is. In the past, there was a lack of knowledge. Right now, we're in the X factor for our change in the black community is technology. That technology meaning that information is at your fingertips right now. You have people like me, we have people like yourself that are going out of the way. We're literally taking time out of our day, out of our life to inform you. Not to say that there's not an excuse anymore, but there's really not an excuse anymore. Because if you can get on social media and you can figure out how to set up a social media account,
You muted yourself there, Gary. It's there, Larry. If they come back in, you just muted yourself by accident. So go ahead and unmute yourself there. It said guest has muted themselves. Bring you back in. Let's see what we got here. Go ahead and hit that button. It says guest is muted. It's all good though. Hey, this is what live is all about. So unmute yourself and bring us back in. Let's see what we got there. It still shows you muted. Let's see if I can adjust it on my end. It just says guest is muted themselves on my side. Let's see what you can do on your, like, hit your button to unmute if that's possible. And now we lost your signal. Hope we'll bring you back there. Now you're still there, but no audio on your side. All right, we're gonna get this together for y'all. Don't lose us. We got you. Stay right there. Stay right there. We're going to bring Larry right back to you in just a second. While he's getting his audio and video set up, we want to know if anybody in the audience has any questions lined up for Larry. We want to bring those in. We'll make sure that we can get them answered while we're live on the session. So let's see if we can get him to drop on. I think we've got him back in now. We've got it. Let's see here. Let's see if we can bring him back on. And see if we can bring him in. What do we got here? All right. And there he is again. There he is. We brought him right back. Technology wins. That's what's going on. So let's jump right back to the questions, man. With all that you've seen out there, what do you think is the biggest misconception about credit? Tell me that.
I think the biggest misconception, some people, they just really don't feel like they can have good credit. Like, you don't have to go into extreme debt to have good credit. What you have to do is just discipline yourself. And I think that's the biggest misconception. I think a lot of people really think they have to go into extreme debt in order to have good credit. And that's not the case. Whenever it comes down to credit, the analogy I like to use is, in order to get a grade, you have to take the test.
Okay.
All right. So what that basically means is, You have to start small. You have to crawl before you can walk, as we always say, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
that means you might not have a $50,000 loan. You might have a $500 loan.
Okay. Okay.
So you have to manage that $500 loan the same way that you would manage that $50,000 loan, because they both will hurt you the same
Okay.
if you
Okay.
mismanage it. So that's pretty much the gist of it, right?
Okay. I just got a question from Ebony. She said, "What are the benefits of fixing my credit?" Ebony, we're going to get to that question. Don't move, because I'm going to ask it with another couple of things that have been put into place. So don't move, Ebony. We got you there. Um, I think
Ebony,
what
we
I want
got
to
you.
ask before we
Trust me.
answer that question for Ebony is that as you're building your credit, is there a
Right.
portfolio or a mix of credit you should have that makes your credit more attractive to lenders?
Yeah, absolutely. It depends on what your goals are. But let's just keep it general. Let's just say everyone needs to have at least two installment accounts and two revolving lines of credit. We'll just say that that's the baseline. That's what you should at least have in order to create a fair score for yourself, so that you can show that I am responsible and I am trying to grow. So let's say you get two installment accounts, meaning let's say a vacation loan from your bank or your credit union, and let's say an auto loan. So those will be your installment accounts. And then two credit cards or a store card or a gas card. So let's say you get at least two installment accounts, two revolving lines of credit. That's your starter kit. And if you manage those over the course of six to, let's say, a year, 6 months to a year consistently, and you slowly but surely add on other lines of credit and other offers that you will be given over the course of that time, you're going to eventually grow into that high six, early 700 area. So it's an easy win for you to just discipline yourself.
So is it, and I've always asked the question, do I need more cards to maximize credit, or can I just raise the limits on the cards I have?
You can actually do both.
Okay.
I think doing both makes the most sense. And there's sometimes are limitations depending on how you decide to go about your credit growth journey, that would actually limit you to just continuously adding cards. So I think that you should definitely crawl before you walk and understand exactly what it is. And that's what we strategize with here at Freedom Credit Booster. We strategize to help you understand exactly what you can leverage from a credit perspective. And we have those strategies to help you accelerate, even beyond those limitations at times. We can help you get around certain things at Freedom Credit Booster. So I think both,
Okay.
adding those lines of credit, as well as asking for those limits, especially if you've been responsible. In most cases, to get those limits raised, you'll want to give it about 6 to 9 months of consistency.
Okay. Okay. And what are the factors or some of the factors that will weigh towards good credit or bad credit? What are the lenders looking for in a good credit or towards a bad credit? How does that look?
All right, so what you don't want to have any of the weight. You don't want those, of course, those derogatories. Derogatories are basically bad marks on your credit report. You don't want those collection accounts on there. You don't want those charge-offs, tax lien. You definitely don't want tax liens, repossessions, and things of that nature, bankruptcies. Those weigh the most. Those weigh out at around anywhere from 180 to 200 points. So if you have a tax lien and a bankruptcy, you probably losing 300, 400 points right there alone, seriously. And so those are the things that you don't want. But on the flip side, let's say you may have a collection. Let's get that collection taken care of. And we want to make sure that our credit report is optimized with at least those four. Let's get that starter kit going. We want those four accounts open. We want those two installments, and we want those two revolving lines of credit. And here again, if you're struggling to get it because you're trying to rebuild and you don't know how to actually execute and get those accounts because your credit is on that line and you hadn't been getting you come into play, and that's where we strategize to help you get to that next level.
That's a good question and a good answer. And that brings me to Ebony's question, which was also partly my question when she started off, which was what are the benefits of fixing my credit? Because you and I started because I needed to fix my credit. I mean, I had been paying my bills for a long time, no problems, no issues, but I had some lates. Remember, I said I had like 4 or 5 missed late payments on my credit report. that were haunting me. Like I couldn't. I'm like, wait a minute. I've been straight for years, not missing a payment, but these
Right.
3 or 4 late payments from like 4 or 5 years ago were still showing up. How do you get rid of stuff like that?
Right. So what we do is we go through a deliberation. We have like I think a lot of people, when it comes to credit repair and the credit repair business, um, they think that they can just just throw paint on the wall basically, right? And there's a true strategy to it. So we have to go about it a certain type of way. All right. We have to go about the execution of making sure that we're communicating to the bureaus, to those collectors, to those creditors, the appropriate way. And then we also hold them to the fire, when necessary, because there's other intermediaries that we have to report to as well to make sure that we're executing and getting those deletions as needed. All right. And so the benefit of doing that, holding these companies accountable, that's when you get those deletions. That's when you start to see your scores rise. And if you follow our strategies, if you follow this our credit booster strategies, you're going to slowly but surely grow. You're going to definitely grow, and you're going to see your scores rise. All right. And the benefit of doing that is simple. It's those things that you might not even think cost money. Like
Mm-hmm.
you get a better insurance rate.
Hmm.
Like your homeowner's insurance, car
Mm.
insurance. It's those little things. It's the little things that make the difference to where you're able to actually hold on to more of your money. You get
Wow.
better interest rates on your car loans.
Okay.
You get a better interest rate on your mortgage.
Mm.
Those numbers, you ever heard it? The truth is in the numbers.
Mm-hmm.
Those numbers are exactly the reason why it's a benefit for you, Evan. Those numbers, because the difference between a 24% interest rate on a car and an 8% interest rate or a 6% interest rate, it measures into the thousands.
Mm.
When you get a better interest rate on your mortgage over the course of a 30-year mortgage, you're talking $100,000+ over the course of 30 years that you're saving for having good credit. And then if you're goal oriented, if you have dreams, you're able to actually leverage your dreams. You'll get with an expert, get with that coach, your dream coach, and level your business up. You get to take your life to the next level and give yourself a promotion. You set yourself up for success. You're able to retire yourself. You don't have to wait on someone to do that for you, because you're going to learn these strategies. You're going to learn and listen to what we're saying, and you're going to be able to level yourself up. You're not going to have to depend on a company to do it for you. That's the benefit. That's the true benefit of leveraging and having good credit.
I love it. I love it. And as Ebony asked, the benefits of there. But my question when you and I first started talking was, how long does it take? Is it a 3 month, 6 month, a year process? Setting correct expectations from the very beginning is probably one of the most important things to tell people about building their credit, right?
Absolutely. I think outside of the elephant in the room on whether or not you can actually fix someone's credit or not, because fixing someone's credit, I mean, a lot of people they kind of give you a little pushback, and they're not totally sold on the idea of paying someone to actually do it. But it's almost equivocal to you being able to cut your own hair. You can cut your own hair, but your barber, which you know what I'm saying, that I come from
That's
that
a
world.
great analogy.
Yeah, it's real. It's like you can cut your own hair, right? But a barber is gonna do it better for you. Or you can go out and cut your grass, but you hire a lawn service because they're gonna get it done faster. They're more proficient. They're coming with the tools,
That's great.
and that's what credit repair is about, right? And so what it really takes is, after we assess the person, the number one predicator in determining how long someone is going to take is the how goal oriented are they? Are
Mm.
they really anchored down to really address what it is that they've been through, right?
Mm.
Like there's certain mistakes that you've made. Are you ready to address these things? So let's say you're ready to address them. Let's say you have a little money saved up and you're ready to invest in your credit. Your credit can be fixed in 3 to 6 months if you're goal oriented and you're willing to be intentional about it. Now, your credit being repaired doesn't mean that you just jump into the 700s. Here again, whenever you're motivated and you're goal oriented, if you listen to our strategies, We're going to show you exactly what to do. We're going to show you where to put your money. We're going to make sure that your money is well spent and invested into you so that you can make sure that you're building your credit and you're putting your money all in the right places, right?
I love it. I love it. I
Yeah.
love it, man. I love it. And
Yeah,
it
man.
was a great analogy too. So I'm still tripping on the haircut guy. That was perfect. I couldn't have said it
Yeah,
better
man.
myself.
I come from that.
Uh,
I come from that, man. That's what I do.
yeah, I completely agree. I completely understand it. So here's a question though, and I've wondered this too: is there ever a time when you should purchase something in credit over purchasing it in cash to better your credit score?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that it just boils down to is it worth putting is it worth putting it in my on my credit? Is it really worth it? Does it make sense? If you're in a position to where you need something to help build your credit, then it's highly recommended that you do that. It's highly recommended. Go ahead and put it on your credit. If it just depends on what your positioning is. So if you're deep into your credit repair journey, like let's say you got 5 or 6 credit cards, of course it probably won't make sense for you to, put, you know, to get a store card that won't really benefit you, right? You might want to do something a little different, you know, or it doesn't necessarily make sense to have a high interest rate on a cash card. So if you want to go and spend $3,000, $4,000 cash on a card, probably be in your best interest to just go ahead and pay for it cash rather than dealing with the higher interest rate on a cash card. So
Yeah.
it just depends. It just really depends on your situation, where you're at in your life and in your journey.
And how do you feel about cars? There's so many different kind of cars now. There's cash back cars. There's airline miles cars. There's free interest cars. I mean, there's just so much out there. How do you determine which one's the right one for you?
Listen, so that here again, it does matter. So let's talk a little bit about these balances. So there's certain levels for you to be able to access certain types of credit in those cashback cards. There's certain credit scores that they're looking for, and there's also certain limits that these companies will approve you or disapprove you. And of course, sometimes it's based on your income. So anytime that anybody's wanting to give you something for spending money, I want you to get your rewards. You always get those, always get your rewards
Say, get your
because
money somehow, some way.
yes, yeah, get your money. You spending your money. So basically, what you're doing is you're spending money using their cards. They're gonna basically give you reward points. You can then leverage those to go stay, go on a vacation for free. Go shopping for free. Why not? Why
Yeah,
wouldn't you do that?
yeah.
So definitely, if you can get rewards cards, you definitely tap into those rewards cards because even if you get an offset interest rate, what happens is in about a year, you can always go back and renegotiate.
So you can renegotiate your interest rate. People don't know that,
Absolutely,
right? People don't get that.
they don't get it. Yeah, you basically you get leverage once you decide to harness your credit, and you say, you know what, man, I'm about to get right. I'm gonna stay on top of this. You get rewards. You get to leverage like you get to call some shots at this point because they technically need you to keep your cards and to keep spending in order
Yeah.
to stay in business.
Right.
So you get to leverage the idea that okay, now I'm not paying an 18% interest rate anymore. We got to do better than that, right? So once you get into that position, yes, you can negotiate your interest rates.
So you can actually call the credit card company and say, "Hey, my score is such and such now. I think I need a better rate," and they have to listen, right? They don't. They may not give it to you right
Absolutely,
over there, but they'll entertain it, right?
absolutely. It's really that simple.
Wow.
And I wouldn't necessarily stop at the first person you talk to. Sometimes you gotta escalate. You know,
I love it.
sometimes you have to escalate. You gotta go up that ladder. Sometimes, man.
My wife and I were talking a few weeks ago, and as of late, since I've been working with you, I've been getting all these offers in the mail because my credit score's going up. And a couple
Right.
of my cars, they asked me, "Well, now we want you to go platinum." Like I had a American Express regular Delta Gold card, and they went, "Oh, come on, go platinum." So I went ahead and went platinum, right? I'm thinking, well,
Yeah.
why not? But then I started looking and going,
Exactly.
okay, they're offering me some bigger perks now just because my score went up. Same credit, same amount of dollars, but giving me more perks. That's what happened when you can leverage that credit, right?
Exactly. You definitely want to man, whenever you get offered any extras, you take those extras, right? You take those extras. Now, one thing I would like to say too, though, in respect to just adding lines whenever they're offering lines, you want to be careful. You want to sometimes be a little strategic with it, to where, because whenever you add a new credit card to your arsenal, it does reset your credit age. That's the only thing that I would caution people as they're going and moving forward with their credit journey. Just always keep in mind that you don't want to just apply just because you're in a position to get a card. You don't necessarily want to go and open a card because it could bring your score down a little bit.
Okay, you just mentioned something that everybody doesn't know, and
Right.
it's how old your credit is a super key factor of how your credit score is built, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. 192 points worth of the key.
Wow, really? That much of it?
192 points, yes. So
Wow.
your history is the biggest, that's the biggest piece of the pie. And
Wow.
it's the most important because that's the one these companies are looking at. They're looking at how long have you been responsible?
Mm.
How long have you been responsible? Not are you responsible, but how long have you been responsible? That's going to let
I
us
didn't even
know.
know that. I'm like, wow.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
like, I
That's
didn't
going
know
to let
how
them
big
know.
of the portion of the pie that was. That it was actually the age of your credit that makes a big difference.
Absolutely. So just to clear that up, there's 550 points that actually account for your credit score. Even though you have an 850 credit scale, there's only 550 points because technically that scale starts at 300 to 850.
Mm.
So out of that 550 points, your history accounts for 192 of those points.
That's huge, man. That's huge.
It
Wow.
is.
Wow.
It's very huge. And
Wow.
so that's why whenever you see those derogatories, like you see those tax limits, you see
Mm-hmm.
those bankruptcies, and you see repos and things like that, that's why they weigh so heavy. When
Mm.
you see those defaulted student loans, the reason why your score is so low is because that's a lot of history that you foregone
Mm-hmm.
to, you know what I'm saying? So now
Mm-hmm.
it's time to get that straight.
Yeah.
Student loans. Sometimes when I see defaulted student loans, there's an easy strategy that I
Mm.
tell people. I don't sell it to them. I tell them, hey,
Yeah.
get on an income driven repayment plan. Let's
Yeah.
go ahead and let's get this thing repaired.
Mm.
Because in 6 to 9 months, once you join that income driven repayment plan, whoever your student loan furnisher is, they're gonna turn this thing around for you. They're gonna turn all of those negatives into positives for you.
Mm.
So
Mm.
that's another key right there that a lot of people suffer. And I had to just throw that one out there because
Yeah. Yeah.
every, it's all about helping people, man. And that's one of the things that I think a lot of us are suffering from, those student loans and
Mm.
default. It's an
Yeah.
easy fix. Call your furnisher. Call your educational loan furnisher. Let's get on the income driven repayment plan. If you need assistance with that, we assist with that as well. But it's
Mm.
something that you truly can do yourself.
Oh
This one
man.
that you don't have to cross our bridge in order to do that. If you got other things going on, or if you really need our help, we can definitely help you with that.
Mm.
But
Mm.
you can turn your credit around in a heartbeat. Let me go back. Let me backtrack, Derek.
Okay. Okay.
So let me help you understand how I truly, truly got into this business. So in 2009, I realized that I needed to come back. I had a lot of stuff going on in my life at that time. And in 2009, I was like, you know what? It's time for me to fix my credit. And I didn't know where to start. That's literally where I got started.
Mm.
I called the student loan furnisher. I believe it was I can't remember who it was. I think Great Lakes had it at the time. Or the US Department of Education had my loans at the time. And they forwarded those to Great Lakes. I went into their income driven repayment plan and I made 9 consecutive payments. My credit scores went from, I think it was a 503, 518, and a 576.
Mm.
Everything jumped 100 points.
Wow.
Everything jumped 100 points just for me getting those out of default,
Wow.
and they were back in good standing. Just that one move got me over 100 points
And that was six
all
to
the way
nine
around.
months of just paying a small amount. It jumped your credit
Just
score.
yeah, it was yeah, it wasn't even a crazy amount. It was $100 a month for 9 months, and
Oh
my
my
score
goodness.
jumped. Yeah, and that's how I technically got started in credit repair because I kept building from there,
Mm.
and I started learning the strategies
Mm.
and then I started helping people around me slowly. I wasn't all in then. I was just helping people slowly. And so 2009 was really when I got my first real start at repairing credit.
Mm. Mm. I love that. I love that story that you're part of the process and you had to learn on your own, and now you're paying it forward, give it to other people out there, which is amazing. Ebony, one of the
Absolutely.
people that are watching says, "Do you have to pay off an old debt while you're going through the process of getting your car fixed, or is there another, or do you just do it all in cycles, or what's the best way to start that process off and getting your repair fixed?"
All right, here again. There's a couple things you want to pay attention to whenever you're actually in these profiles. Um, with certain states, you have 3 year statute of limitations and 5 year statute of limitations in certain states. And sometimes they are truly 7 year statute of limitations, right? So these are the things that we pay for. We pay attention to before you start paying things off, because sometimes you could be paying for debts that these companies have already been compensated for.
Mm,
They've already
mm.
written them off on their taxes. They've already gotten credit for them from the
Wow.
government,
And
and
they
it's
get extra
outside
money
of
from
that.
you.
Yeah, and they're gonna take your money. You trust me on that.
They gonna take your money. If you gonna
They're gonna
send it,
take
they
your
gonna
money.
take it.
And so that's the reason why you need our eyes on your report before you start spending money. Sometimes it just pays to pay someone.
Mm.
Sometimes there's a true benefit in that.
I think we're losing you for a second. See if you're coming through. And I think we got you. Are you still there? Are you still there? Go ahead and talk to me. I think we got you there. I see you moving. Now you muted yourself again. I don't know what you did when you did it, but you went and you muted yourself again. So if you can unmute yourself, great. If not, bring yourself back into the call. We live. We'll keep rocking with it. I keep talking to the yeah. Bring yourself back in. If you guys are enjoying this so far, I hope you're getting some great information about how to manage your credit. Uh, I didn't know a lot of the stuff when I started with Larry, and man, he has helped me so much. Let me see if I can bring it back in one more time. Let's see what we got here. Let's see what we got. Let's bring him back in one more time. And somehow he keep losing him, but that's what happens when you go live, right? That's live for you, man. That is how live works. There's always something. Always something when you go live. Let's see if we can bring him into the guest room and get him ready to rock. All right, let's see what we got here. Do we have him here? We got him. There he is.
Hey man, I apologize.
No, man. Hey, internet is
Oh,
internet. That's what happens. We know it's live, so stuff happens all the time. You all good, but your
yeah, man.
information is spot on. So that's all we matter. That's all that matters to us, right? So
Yeah, man, no doubt, man. Hey, I appreciate you so much working with me. I appreciate everybody being patient as well,
hey,
and picking up what I'm putting down. I'm
yes,
praying that you're
sir.
picking up what I'm putting down.
Because it's good information, man. It's good information. And see, you helped me, man, when we talked about my own credit, and I said, well, how do I get these lates off of here because they were so old? And remember, I said I had a charge off from back in the day, and I said, should I pay this
Right.
thing? And you're like, no, man, that thing is gone. Don't pay them any more money.
Yeah.
I didn't even realize it was still on there. But you're like, look, if it's already off, it's off. What you helped me to
Right.
do was get it removed so that it didn't show it was still there. That was the
Exactly.
key. And that's stuff that I didn't know we could do. And that's what Freedom Credit Boost is all about, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. So, the strategy is there. It's not a magic bullet or letter or anything like that. It's truly a deliberation. When you get into credit restoration, it's truly a deliberation between you and these companies, and I'm going to be the intermediary that's speaking on your behalf and for you. We have the strategies in place. We're going to power up those letters. We're going to power up your situation so that you're actually able to execute. You're able to get things done way faster than normal, by using our strategies. And that's pretty much what we're doing.
Mm-hmm.
So in a nutshell, that's pretty much it. You got to make sure that you have the right strategies when you enter into your credit restoration journey.
Mm-hmm.
And you want to make sure that as we're deliberating that we're just keeping track of what's going on. Is basically all it is. So it's a back and forth between these companies and yourself, but we're gonna see it to the end. We're gonna make sure we get you to that finish line.
I love it. I love it. Last few questions, just to kind of curtail us back around, and as those people that are watching now that have maybe not heard about credit because we didn't get taught early, you and I were talking about this. How early should we start talking to our kids about credit and making sure they know the importance of it?
I feel like, because because I have a 7 and an 8-year-old that they already understand what daddy does, right? And I teach them already about, the nuance of it and understanding what it means. And so they do chores, they earn money, you know. They do chores, they earn credit, so to speak, right? So you start teaching your children the way that they're going to listen to you and learn. A lot of our children, they're stuck on these tablets, right? They spend hours on these tablets.
Yeah, they do.
So you have to basically teach them, vicariously through these different means and measures. You know what I'm saying? That you have to that their attention is being taken from and by. And so whenever you teach your children, I would say probably around the age of 8, they start strategically thinking around that age. Children start strategically thinking and really start thinking things through a lot more. At least that's what I've noticed with my kids. They're really starting to think things through.
Yeah. Yeah.
When your children can multiply,
Yeah, that's probably
when you
when you should start talking about it. When they're
you
in
need to start
class with
talking to them about credit.
mathematics.
When your kids can start multiplying,
Yeah,
you
man.
know, and they can start dividing, then you need to start speaking to them about credit. You
Yeah,
need to
man.
start speaking to them about, it's called the hidden curricula of life.
Mm,
It's called the hidden curriculum. So you start speaking to them about it, they're gonna start picking that stuff up. I remember stuff that I was taught from when I was like really 8 years old, 6 years
wow.
old. So if you talk to them about it, they're gonna pick it up. They're gonna soak it up. But you
Yeah.
have to be
Yeah.
intentional.
Yeah.
You have to be intentional about what it is that you're teaching your children, and you have to be that leader in your household.
I love
You
it.
can't let you can't let social media do it. You can't let
Come on
you can't
now.
let the
Amen to
news do
that.
it.
Amen to
You
that.
can't let the news do it. You have to be the leader in your household, and you have to control what your children are absorbing.
Yeah.
You have to substantiate the difference. Substantiate the difference so that they can understand what the reality is of 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 your real life and what you're going to have to learn and go through versus what's on social media and the
And I
way they
think
appear.
even in my own life, I wish I would have taught my kids way earlier, and I didn't. And now that
Right.
I've gotten older and watched what happens when you don't teach them, and you and I talking it through, I think the earliest you should do it is when they start learning how to pay for something. When they have to physically
Right.
pay for something and it costs them something, they need to learn the art of how money is exchanged, how it's saved, how it can
Right.
be applied to a credit card. Because they start seeing credit cards online all the time through social media. They see Visa, MasterCard all the time when they're 8, 19 years old. We need to tell them, what is that? When they can
Right.
ask you, what is it? That's your time to start talking about it, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. The earlier the better.
Yeah.
And just like a lot of people, some people can pick it up earlier than others.
Yeah.
And the consistency is key.
Yeah.
In most things in life, it doesn't matter, how talented you are or whatever. Most times it comes down to the hard, consistent work that you're willing to put into something.
Yeah.
And so if you're consistent and staying on top of your children and you're being very intentional about what it is you want them to absorb, then you're going to be all right.
I love it. I love it. I got another question out there from one of the people that came in. Carolyn comes in and says, "Hey, I came late. What do you do when companies sell your bill to another company?" I've seen that happen. What do you do with that?
I'm talking about when I say we put on a hard front, we put on a hard front for our clients because at the end of the day, you as the client, you didn't sign a contract with that new company. And we hold these companies to the law. So what we're going to do is the way that we craft our letters, we make sure that if you own this debt and you bought it from that company, then you have to show us. You have to show it and prove it. If you don't show it and prove it, you better delete it. As simple as that. Because other than that, you're violating the law.
So we would
And that's
probably
what we
need
do.
a service to help us with something like that. Could we do it on our own, or is it better to get the analogy of the barber and have the credit guy come and fix that one when it's been sold to somebody else?
It depends on where you're at. Sometimes, I mean, doing it yourself, it's longer because you likely don't know all the stuff that I know. You know, it's been a journey. Trust me, I've heard it all. I've been pulled into several rabbit holes since I've been in this industry. And what it boils down to is it boils down to the laws. If you want to take the time to learn the laws, then you can do it yourself because it boils down to the laws. right? And so with that being said, here again, it's like a barber.
I,
You
I'm
can
gonna
cut
stick
your
with the
own hair.
barber thing, man. I'm sticking with that. That just works for me.
It's like your barber. You can cut your own hair, but your barber's probably gonna do it a little bit better than you.
Well, I got one more question, and this is something we've talked about at length, and because people out there are watching now, you and I said there's tons of free resources out there to people to learn about credit, to learn about how to manage it, to learn about what it does when it's bad or good. Like we talked about your home being affected by your credit score, buying a car, your insurance, all these things. There's free information, free resources. Where do you suggest people go to find information about credit and how to talk about it?
Go to my website, www.freedomcreditbooster.com. We have a blog section on there that breaks down everything about credit. Um, and get your free credit report. You can always go to a free annual credit report and get your free credit report as well. So there's several ways that you can get in front of your credit. As far as the information is concerned, go to my website, www.freedomcreditbooster.com, or you can even follow me at FreeCredBooster on Facebook, or excuse me, at FreeCredBoost on Facebook. Follow my business, Freedom Credit Booster, or IG. You can go to IG. The handle is Freedom Credit Booster. There's tons of information on my pages. So
Okay.
that's my first recommendation. Go check out my pages.
Okay.
And then of course, the internet world is out there. You can just click in, just choose your search engine, Google,
Right.
Bing, whatever your search engine of choice is, and just type in your question. And you're gonna get a million answers, literally.
Man. And you know what? I forgot to ask one question. I'm gonna throw it in there. I know we're running out of time, but I forgot to ask it because I wanted to know it. Y'all guys ready? You guys help me with it? Come on, can we get this one in there? One more question? Yeah, one more. Okay, we go out this one out. What is the difference between all the different credit companies like Transfusion, Experian, Equifax? There's all these different versions of your credit score. What in the heck is the difference, and why do I need three of them?
So, like most industries, the world is set up with industries, right? And the way that this system is set up, it's basically to grade you. So this particular industry decided that we're going to label and make these three companies the big three. And so they're technically known as the big three. But there's a couple of other little known bureaus that actually report to the big three. So these big three are the industry standard that the banks and the lenders are pretty much using to grade you off of. But the fact of the matter is this, that there are several other smaller intermediaries and smaller companies, smaller credit reporting companies that actually report to the big three. The big three don't report information, right? They actually lean on these other companies by the name of LexisNexis, Innovis, SageStream. These smaller credit reporting companies are actually the ones that are reporting this information to the big three. So the big three is basically an industry thing. That's more political if you really want to get into the weeds of it, right? It's more of
Yeah.
a political thing that was structured and set up to where, okay, this is going to be the guide that we're going to follow. All right, so
Okay.
that's the way that I look at it. And that's to put it into a more understandable language rather than giving you all of this other stuff that doesn't really matter.
Well, I
you
guess I
know?
would I would always think and go, do I need all of them to match? Because they very rarely match. One will be seven something, one will be six something, one will be, and I'm thinking, who's looking at which one? Do each of them do specific things for different type of lenders?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's all about the lenders. It boils down to the lenders and what they decide that they're going to be pulling from. So in many cases, like let's say for instance, there's an industry rule when it comes down to lenders. Let's say mortgage lenders, they're typically going to pull your middle score, regardless of which bureau it is.
Okay.
So they're going to go off your middle score. But then you have some companies, like let's say if you're buying a mobile home, they pull off TransUnion. A lot of those lenders pull off a TransUnion. So it just depends on what you're trying to do. And then there's a lot of credit cards they actually pull off of Experian.
Okay.
They're specific. They're very specific. So that's on the lenders. So that's going to be more of a bank thing. The actual lenders or the mortgage companies, that's going to be their decision as to who they're using as their, I guess, their bureau of choice.
Do you recommend that someone have access to all three at all times? Like I use creditkarma.com, which I think is amazing. It just works like a charm. It gives me TransUnion and I think Equifax, just those two. And that's how, and I try to gauge off those, but it gives you a lot of information. Tell me what's coming, what's going. Do you recommend those kind of websites or no?
I think so. Like as long as it's if you're not in a position to maintain a credit monitoring, I would highly recommend it. That way you can always stay in front of it. You can have something to help guide you. So something is always going to be better than nothing, right? But the fact is, you'll want to make sure that you're in front of all three bureaus and you're keeping some monitoring on it, especially once you get good credit, because scamming is at an all-time high. You want to make sure that if something happens, you're able to get in front of it before it gets really, really bad. So keeping that credit monitoring is it's just the best, I guess, the best rule of thumb in this day and age.
Sure,
Making sure
sure.
that you stay in front of your credit, and anything that happens on your credit, you're getting alerted immediately.
Last question, I promise. It's 7:48. We're getting out of here because this is just good information.
Hey man,
This is good
take your
information out
time.
here. I
Take
hope you
your
guys
time.
are enjoying this. This is solid info, y'all. How often should you check your credit? Because I mean, you could check it every day and it'll fluctuate. Like when some people working together, I was checking it every day for a while, and it would go up and down, and depending on what card I paid off that day, whatever, it was kind of nuts. But is there like a certain time, like at the beginning of the month or end of the month, you should check it, or what do you think?
I think that once you understand what your goals are, you're more than likely going to have some credit monitoring in place, and then that they typically renew those every 30 days or so.
Okay.
So you'll actually be able to get in front of your credit once a month if you choose to, and you're
Okay.
paying for that service, right? But believe it or not, Credit Karma, and this is one of the benefits that they just started doing, I think, within the past couple of years. With Credit Karma, even though you only get two bureaus, it is free. But with Credit Karma, I think they actually update every 7 days now. And I could be wrong,
Yep, they do,
but
because
from my
I'm on it all
understanding,
the
Credit Karma,
time. Since I've been working
yeah.
with you, man, I'm like always on my credit. I'm looking at it all the time, right? I've become obsessed with it. I know that's not right, but then again, at the same time, my scores have went up 50 points since I've been with you. So
Yeah, man.
the
Yeah,
obsession is
man. That's
working,
what's up, man.
right? I got
I'm
to you.
telling you,
I was
man.
in the low 600s. I'm in the high 700s now. So, ka-ching, right? It's
Yes,
working.
sir. Yes, sir.
So
No games, man.
what's that commercial? I'm not just a client. I'm one of I've been going to get the barber shop. I've been going to the barber shop getting it done. So you are the barber. I've been checking it out, and I couldn't have done it without you, man.
Yeah,
So I
man.
should appreciate you.
No doubt, man. I appreciate you too, man. Thank you.
Well, we are gonna close it down, y'all. I know y'all don't want to leave us, but we gotta get up out of here. I told him it'd be like 30 minutes, and I'm way over time right now. But I sure do appreciate you stopping by, Larry, man. And what we talked about is why don't we do this again? Why don't we just do another one in the next couple weeks or so? We'll put together another show, and we'll bring on some specific topics that maybe people are interested in about their credit or about their finance. Would you willing to come back and help us out?
Absolutely. Anytime, man. Just give me the heads up and I'm here.
I appreciate
Definitely.
that, man.
Definitely.
Appreciate that. And I just hope everybody has enjoyed it. Another person just said as they were closing out, you can get Experian for free as well. So Credit Karma is one credit service, Experian is the other. If you don't look at your credit, manage your credit, it will manage you somewhere along the way. You'll be going to get a car or a house, and they're going to say, sorry, your number didn't match up. So I hope, if
Right.
nothing else, you watch this episode today and realize I need to get on it. I need to get on my credit because it is going to follow me for the rest of my life. Right, Larry?
Absolutely. 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 Stay on top of it.
Yeah.
Get in front of it.
Yeah.
The education is free.
Yes.
You know, the education is free.
Yeah.
Tap in with me. Go and lock in. Go to my website. Click on get free consultation.
There it is.
I'll gladly speak to you and give you a strategic game plan to help get you into the high sixes and sevens so that you can get approved, won't have any issues out here.
And
Start leveraging
I,
it.
I
You
will
leverage your
validate
credit, you
for him.
leverage your life.
I will validate for my boy. He does the job. And a couple of
Absolutely,
my
man.
says,
Thank you.
hit the like up there if you enjoyed this content. Hit that like, hit the subscribe for us so everybody can check it out. And if you didn't get a chance to watch it, you can watch the replay. As soon as this is done, it will stop, it'll pause, and you can watch it, the whole thing, in about 15 minutes. You can watch the replay to be ready for you. So, and if there's somebody who didn't get to watch the content, share this with a friend. Let them know there's some great information about how to manage your credit and get you back on track with your finances this year. Larry, it's been a blessing having you on, man. I sure do appreciate you. And for all the people out there that are watching the content, we appreciate you. Thank you for being here on the Beautiful Now podcast, Beautiful Now Live.
Thank you, man.
We
I
will see
appreciate
you
it.
next time. And of course, we love you. Have a great one, guys. Take care. We'll see you next time. Bye bye now.